Hello, welcome back. Oh my gosh, we're back to world building. Would you believe it? Where we get together for about an hour and a half and talk about world building, or at least I talk about world building for half an hour, 20 minutes, something like that, depending on how long it takes me. And you guys make the world as a community with me, so that it's obvious to people that you can do it without spending weeks, months, and years. It can be done. You'll see before you the Dungeon Master Guide for 4E Advanced D&D First Ed Edition and Second Ed Edition. Why do you not see the 5th Ed Edition? Because the 5th Ed Edition Dungeon Master Guide is a poorly constructed Dungeon Master Guide which essentially copied stuff directly from previous versions of the Dungeon Master Guide. So why would I put that there in front of you when it is not really breaking any new ground? In fact, they're having to redo it as it happens right this very moment. Anyway, I'm going to put a poll up and you can take part in that poll. And please share your ideas. Normally what I do is I present a slideshow. It's slightly different to what it was before. Okay, I keep changing a little bit every single time. And I'm going to go into this fairly quickly so that we get through this and then get straight into the actual world building process. I know that's why most of you are here. Anyway, let's start. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler and I want to talk about role-playing games, world building, building a world. That seems like rather a lot to do, but it's not as bad as you might sound. It sounds. Look, Game Master preparation. This is lesson 8, world building. You can build a world in an hour and a half, possibly even faster, and I'm going to prove it because today I'm going to do it, as we have done pretty much every 2.5 months. We do it again. So overview and purpose, the sources of world building. We'll have a look at that. We'll also talk about approaches as well. Mapping the world, naming the world and its continents. World creation stories, I'll cover this. Choosing gods and goddesses or deities. Developing your world locations or landmarks. Dealing with government. Determining world magic, if there is magic that is. Talking about technology, creating species, monster populations, because often we have creatures and monsters and beasts. And then some miscellaneous recommendations, just as I always do. Next, objectives. I'm going to explain the process. Okay, I'll do that first. I will demonstrate that process, and I'm going to get you to be part of that practice, part of that actual demonstration. You're going to be part of the equation. Why? Because you need to be. Right, let's start off with the very basics and beginning of all of this, and that is sources of world building. I always encourage people to look at world building from their own personal experience, rather than looking at a different source, something that isn't you, something you have not experienced. Your own personal experience helps inform your world building for whatever thing you're doing. You can modify history, you can modify fantasy, you can modify science fiction worlds, you can modify anything. You can steal from pop culture like Middle Earth, Oz, Narnia. You can do it anything you like with all that stuff. It's your world, you take the bits you like. And I also recommend not just taking your own personal experience and the things that have influenced you over the years, like pop culture, history, and fantasy and science fiction novels and so forth, or even movies. I love movies. Player input. You'd be surprised how much a player can do in terms of bringing stuff to your world. Either through just playing the game as they play through, their input, their suggestions, the things they might ask, the questions they ask might give you solutions to things you hadn't thought of. Their backstories. Their backstories can be used to incorporate elements of your world building. So don't look at that as, I don't need to use that. Okay, it's always part of that. You never stop world building. Now, if you're going to have a world, there are usually 2 approaches to world building that are talked about. One is called top down. You start big. Maybe you draw the world first, and then you go down into the more micro elements of your world. So you start large and you work down big. That can be a bit daunting for a lot of people, but it does not have to be. Okay, I'm going to show you why. Then there's the bottom up, where you start small and say maybe you just create an inn or a tavern or just a little village or a town. That's your small bit, and then you build out from there. But the truth is, you can do both, and it will take you no more time, frankly, than doing just one of them. And we'll go through this process today, don't you worry. Okay, mapping your world. Now, this is sort of part of the top-down, bottom-up approach, but you can draw the world for your role-playing game. It can be achieved a few different ways, okay? You can simply grab yourself a piece of paper, blank piece of paper, and scribble onto a white page with a pen or a pencil the continents of a world. Or maybe you just draw the layout, street layout, and with the position of the buildings for your village or your town. And that's all it is. You just start with paper and pencil and pen. You can also use software programs that allow you to do custom maps and draw in a lot of detail. They require time to learn. You don't have to do these things though. You can have detailed landscape maps that are real. So take a real map and simply copy it. That's all you do, is you just copy an existing map that exists from the real world. The world that we live on, the continents have changed so much. You could use any time in history where the continents don't look like they currently do, and you would have a new world, your world. Random generators. There's a lot of automated software out there that randomly generate world maps for you, and they can also generate random villages and town maps for you, even a city if you want. You don't actually have to do a lot of that yourself. You can just start off with the basic brushstrokes with a computer doing it for you, and then away you go. Now, once we've dealt with drawing and sort of getting a basic gist of what we're dealing with, whether we're going top up or bottom down, top up or bottom down, bottom down, bottom up, top down. Phew, God, get them mixed up. Name the world. Name the world of the continents. What is the name of your fantasy world or science fiction world? It may be that you simply decide you're going to just not name the world, but the continents. And in fact, you need to ask yourself the question, do you even have to have a name for your world or the continent? Does it actually need to have a name? You have actually been exposed to so many different names about what something was called as a continent and a world through history and pop culture. This shouldn't be very difficult to do. You can also ask your players to name the world. One of the great things is you could come up with a name. All your players could come up with a different name, and you could have a different name for the same world. Just, of course, it would be represented by different cultures within your world. This is often the case with our own world. It's not always called the same thing. It's not just called Earth. Okay? So consider that as a possibility. The same world can have many different names across different civilizations on your world, just as it does in real life. You can also find world name generators. They work well. You don't have to come up with these names at all. You can get something else to do that for you. If you are finding you're struggling for inspiration or it's just a bit too much hard work, that's all right. Now, when it comes to world creation, I know a lot of people sort of sidestep this one, but the world creation story is actually quite important. Why? Because it's what everything is based off. The world creation story is what all of your mythology and all of your history will eventually lead back to. So what are some world creation stories? One of the great things is there's usually only a couple that are pretty much the same and just remodified in some way. So I'm going to list them in a second. But you could also have that nobody knows how the world was created. There's no way to know. There are only theories. Maybe it's just a mythology. Maybe it's a legend. Anyone can come up with this. It could be the players having a different creation story to the game master yourself. You don't have to be the one who comes up with the creation story. You could have different creation stories. This is quite common on our real world, our own world. You can do that for a fantasy world as well. Okay, so here are some examples of different creation stories that you can build from. The world was created by a supreme being. This is sort of like Christianity, yeah. But a supreme being, one being, did all the world building. You go from there. You might have the world emerging over a long period of time as a metamorphosis occurs. I mean, you could call this evolution if you like. It could be anything. You can have two primal super beings, a mother and a father, who give birth to the world. They join and birth the world. You can have the world hatching from a cosmic egg laid by a deity, maybe a super chicken or a rooster or something like that. I don't know, up to you. You can have two companion gods represented by good and evil, and one of them dives into a water source to pull the world into existence. Okay? And then the last one is the gods or gods. You might have one god, you might have many gods. They transform the corpse of a dead giant into the world, or maybe a dead god in some way. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at this. And that's not the exhaustive list, but that sort of gets you started. Now that we talked about creation stories, we need to start looking at your deities, your gods and goddesses. Easy way. Who are the deities of your world? Do you have any at all? Are there any gods? There may not be any. Ask the player characters. Ask the players who their characters worship. Let them do some of the work. You don't know tons of gods from history? Yes, you do. You actually know lots and lots of information about gods from history, mythology, folklore. You can select this and just use it in your game. You don't have to make something completely new. You can steal from fantasy, science fiction, Dungeons and Dragons lore. So just pick something. I'm going to suggest you use different pantheons from a different culture. Like the pantheons from Norse mythology, Egyptian, Greek, Celtic, Roman, Aztec, Hindu, Japanese, Chinese, Korean. There's lots of them out there. You can use these things. You can take bits and pieces. I'm going to suggest looking at fantasy pantheons that have already been created. You might decide that Galarion is a good idea, or the Forgotten Realms, or Greyhawk, or Dragonlance, or Eberron, or Mystara. You can reverse the names. So even if you take an existing name and concept, you don't have to keep it exactly as it is. Maybe you reverse the name and you get a different name for your god or goddess, and you can slightly adjust the detail. So maybe it's not quite it's not the god of thunder and lightning and and things like that. You change it to something else. Maybe it's the god of all types of weather patterns: rain, thunder, lightning, snow, all that sort of stuff. So you can incorporate and change things a little bit just to make it a bit more personalized. Okay, we also need to have locations. The players are going to need to explore with their characters locations in your world. So what locations do you need? Do you have settlements like villages, towns? Are there cities on your world? Is there more than one city? You don't have to build all of these all at once. You just need some stuff, somewhere for them to go. And it can be as simple as only having one or two locations. That's all it needs to be. Usually when you're starting out, the extent of what you require is a starting location and a place somewhere else they can go to. That's it. So you only need two locations when you start. The rest will come. There's many places around the real world that you have seen that you can poach and steal and adjust for your game and the play that you're going to incorporate into your world building. What you do need is a starting location in your world, whether that be a village, a town, an inn, or something else. That's maybe it's a tower. Whatever it is, you need a starting location. Okay. Where did the player characters come from? They must have come from a village or town. They must have been born somewhere. Maybe they were born in a city. That is your starting location. Use their backstory. Use the player and whatever they built for their character and incorporate that. There's your starting location. You didn't even have to do that work. What about using your own hometown, village, or city? You can modify it. You know that really well. You don't really have to do a lot of work around it. In fact, you've done all the work. For years and years and years, you've been remembering where the streets were and what the layout of the place was and what stores were in it. You just need to make them fit the kind of world you want. Is it a modern day world? Is it a fantasy world? Or is it a science fiction world? Yeah, in the future somewhere. So modify your own location where you live. That could be your starting location. I'm going to suggest the Game Mastery Guide for Pathfinder First Ed Edition. It's full of location information. It's a really good book. And most Dungeon Master Guides have plenty of information on building and creating locations for dungeons, areas, worlds, and stuff like that. You just got to pick the right one, okay? So that's your location stuff. Now, it doesn't just come down to settlements. It could be something like mountains or specialized temples. It might be a castle. There are lots of different things. When I say locations, it's a very broad concept. Okay, now that you've done that, let's talk about who actually is in control of the world. Who is the major power? Who or what are the government or power in this world? There might be more than one. There probably is. You deal with government every day of your life, so you should not find this hard to figure out. I'm going to say right now that this is probably one of the easiest things for you to conceptualize in your brain. Maybe there are no governments. There is nobody in power, okay, over a nation. But maybe there's somebody trying to gain power over a section of the world. There are different types of civilizations. They're generally broken up into just a small collection, which I'm going to go over. You'll find that almost every single Game Master book or Dungeon Master guide has information on this. Sometimes it's a bit too detailed and kind of repeats. So I'm breaking this down into the smallest aspects I possibly can. Monarchy. Monarchy is really a single sovereign leader who is limited by law and serves the citizens. This is your king or your queen, or kings and queens, okay, the monarchy. Then you have democracy. I'm sure a few of you are aware of that, where the society, the kingdom, the nation is ruled by selected representatives that the citizens vote into power. So there's your democracy. Oligarchy is the government formed by a few persons or a family. This is more tribal in nature, and it tends to sort of be passed down over time from family to family. It's kind of like the monarchy, but a little bit different. Okay, next we have authoritarianism, where it is opposing individual freedom and thought and action, and there's a central leader, usually a dictator of some kind, almost always a dictator. Whether there's one leader or there's just a collection of them, but usually there's just one authoritarian figure in power. Theocracy is where you have the ruling body being a collection of priests or churches or temples, agents of some deity or god, and they rule by the religious doctrine that they have applied to the world or the nation or the region of your world. Now, the Game Mastery Guide has plenty of information on this, so does the Dungeon Master Guide, and you'll find that in pretty much every single Dungeon Master Guide for D&D, so that's not going to be a problem. Okay, we've talked about that. We need to move on and start thinking in terms of what world species are here. Why are we thinking world species? Because we need to give our players options. Is your world only full of humans? Is that the only species they could play? Maybe it is. What species or races are in your world? You don't have to have a lot of them. Player characters haven't encountered every single species and race yet, so that does not mean you need to give them 30 choices, okay? You only need to give them enough to get going. Pick a few that you know from fantasy fiction, and you can add the rest later if you want to. I would suggest as much as you can count on one hand. 5 is good enough. Modify real-world animals to create a new fantasy species or race, or even an alien. You can select a handful of species and races from any tabletop role-playing game book. You do not need to use all of them. Really, in most respects, it's really just a narrative. Okay, I would say almost always it's more of a putting on a costume, because let's get real. How can we as humans possibly understand how to role play a different alien or species? Because we really don't understand them. So you can make it up. It doesn't really matter. It's really just we're putting on a glove. Okay, our glove, instead of it being a white-pink hand, it is now a white hand, or a black hand, or a purple hand. Okay, if you're using a world, whether it's science fiction or fantasy, maybe there's magic in this world. So there's a few things you need to consider with magic. When it comes to magic, you need to decide, does your world have magic? Or is it called something else? How does magic work? Okay? Now, you don't need to understand how magic works, because sometimes this question is unnecessary. Do you have magic in your world, or don't you have magic in your world? You decide that first. And really the question about how magic works kind of cracks me up many times, because remember, magic is mysterious and amazing. You do not have to have an answer as to how magic works. It just works. That's why it's called magic. It's the unexplained. You can have high-level magic worlds. You can have low magic worlds. So have an idea of what you want to do with that. One of the first questions your players are going to ask you when you have a world is, do you have magic shops? Can they go to a shop and buy themselves a magic sword or a potion of healing? So you need to decide what sort of magic shops, if any, exist in your world. Do they exist at all? Is magic in some way in your world connected to technology, or is it separate? Can the dead be brought back to life using magic, or is that impossible? Can you transport yourself using teleportation from one location to another instantaneously? Is magic able to do that? Are there different types of magic, and what are those types of magic? What restrictions on magic are there in this world? Are there no restrictions? Now, when it comes to magic and answering those questions, there's really only a couple of questions you need to consider. The first question is, do you have magic or not? Is there a lot of magic, or is there very little? And do you have magic shops? And frankly, after that, the rest of it you can figure out as you go. You don't have to answer any more than that. You do not have to answer all 9 questions that I just put forward. Okay? It's all right. You can leave some of that undone. We can deal with it later. Next, world technology. Now, most worlds will have some form of technology. What technology does your world have? Does it have very little? Does it have a lot? You know a lot about different types of technology from your life experience and your schooling. So I shouldn't have to educate you about this, but I will at least give you a scale or band to sort of work with, and you decide how it's going to look. I'm going to suggest to you that you could start with the fire. The creation of fire for energy is probably one of the first steps in technology. Wind power, so mechanical devices, windmills that generate energy with a mechanism that catches the wind. Steam power, so where you heat up something, creating steam, boiling water, okay, to help power a motor or an engine of some kind. Burning fossil fuels would be the next step, where you power it by burning oil or fossilized wood or something like that. You're burning something. Anything that's fossilized, you can burn. Yep. Solar power energy, where you capture the energy, the radiation from the sun, and store it to be used later on. Electrical energy generation can be stored and used later on, and it can be generated in many different ways. You can do it through solar power. You can have electricity from solar power, burning fossil fuels, steam engines, windmills. You can even have electricity coming from the breakdown of organic material like rotting compost. You can have it from the burning gases, which is fossil fuels again, but there's lots of different ways. You can have it generated by running water through a mechanism. So you have water powered, hydro power generation. There's lots of different ways of doing it. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there are plenty of them out there. You can also use just radiation, storing radiation to be used later on for your technology, and it's the release of atomic energy in some way. How's that? Well, you break apart your atom, and when you break apart your atom, you have fission. And then if you smash those atoms together, you get fusion, okay? Like the atomic bomb. We're talking about atomic energy, okay? One that gives off radiation, one that does not. You have biological technology where it's become so advanced that you can literally change the biology of something to create your technology. It's all integrated in some way. Okay, now that we've done that, we've got to deal with populations. Now, how you populate your world is up to you. I just talked about races and species, but now we're going to talk about monster populations. What monsters or creatures or beasts are in your world? There's always going to be something, whether it's an alien monster or it's a fantasy monster. Now, everyone will find out as they explore and go through your campaign and your adventures. Your campaign and your adventures are not your world building. They're separate, okay? You can include anything that you like as a game master, and you don't have to include everything all at once. You can just select a few things to begin with. I would literally suggest select a few creatures, monsters, beasts, aliens from a monster book and start with them. Monsters, creatures, and beasts are where stories are at. Take inspiration from movies about monsters to populate your world. Use books on fiction, novels, to help fuel your imagination and the kinds of monsters and creatures you want to use. Steal stuff, that's cool. You're running it for your group. It doesn't matter. Draw from real world biology. There's a lot of crazy creatures out there that actually exist that would make great monsters and creatures for your world. The more obscure archaeology has some really interesting stuff going on. And if you have a look, either in books or on the internet or YouTube and various other places, you'll find a lot of very strange stuff that main core archaeology does not accept, but they make for great stories in a tabletop role-playing game, and they make a great asset for world building. And I highly recommend finding something like that. You can get a lot of mileage out of it. Okay, lastly, when I do this, I like to have some miscellaneous recommendations. My first thing that I'm going to say is, please, when it comes to world building, just make something, make some sort of world and do it quick and get started before either your players break away and go somewhere else, you get bored or get distracted, or you die. Okay? I've heard of so many people who never get it done. They're still building their world. And I'm like, you don't need to do that much to get started. You just need to do it. Just do the basics and get going. Okay? Now, what is the plot of your campaign? No. I'm going to say no. That is not the question you should be answering. The campaign plot, the campaign concept is not world building. World building is just the backdrop. Okay? The plot of your campaign, the goal of your campaign, the objective of your campaign, that is a completely different question. Do not get them mixed up. Okay? Do not do that to yourself. You do not have to necessarily decide what the major threat to the world is straight away. You just have to build it. Then you figure out how to destroy it, if that's what you want to do. This is not a novel that you're trying to create. You're not creating or writing a movie. You're not doing some sort of plot line that's going to unfold. Okay? Players create the plot. They create a lot of the objectives, and really, as you play on, you'll find they drive everything. You just need to give them a playground to run around in, and that is what your world building is. Okay? No one has to know the truth about your world. Like because of the passage of time, because of people's bias, even within your world, the truth of your world, what actually is, may never be known. So you can change stuff. Maybe the players will learn one thing, that the world is called Gaia, only to discover that really, no, it's not called Gaia, it's actually called Bob. Never saw that coming. But you can do with whatever you like with this. You do not need to be married. You don't have to say, okay, I have to be stapled down to one thing. Once I decide on something, I cannot move it. That's not true. As I've said before, most cultures on any world, and particularly our own, will find that everybody has a different view, a different perspective, and your world will reflect this, and you can change things as you go. Okay, so it's not as bad as it might sound. You do not have to have the final solution ready to go. You can just start throwing stuff together. Now, I hope this was useful and helpful to you. I want to thank you for watching and listening. I want to thank my patrons who support me so I can keep running this program, and I really do appreciate it, because I don't see a lot of it done. I see a lot of people talking about world building, but not really doing any world building. And I would like to see more people spending a bit more time doing it fast rather than doing it slow. So today, we're going to do it fast. So very, very thankful for that. But anyway, get ready. Get your pencils out. Get your brain ticking. Grab your dice. Whatever you think is going to work for you. And till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, I'm done. World building and covering world building is a somewhat daunting process in terms of talking about it. For those of you who are here, you know what the deal is. We are going to build a world today. I'm going to give you some prompts. I'm going to do some stuff. I'm going to prove my point, as I always do, that world building is not that hard. Okay, you can make it happen, and you're going to be part of that process. So, is there anybody who's got an incomplete world so far? Nobody. Everybody is either no or yes. Interesting. Hello, Jasper. Hello, Fred Huber. How are you? Agile Monk. So Fred Huber and Jasper are patrons. Thank you. Agile Monk, also a patron and a moderator. Hypnotic, how are you? How's it going? I think my favorite world building creation story is from the game Xenoblade. Okay. All right. Cool. Good. Use that. Why not? Fred Huber is, you're never late. You're always on time. You were always intending to be here at a particular time. Don't worry about that. It's all good. Calrel, how are you? And we have Overboard. Hello, Joe, also a moderator. Thank you for being here. So, this was timely as I am world building. Please plan to start. So here we do. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to get you started. Yeah. You're a patron too. Hypnotic. Sorry, dude. Do you know? I try to keep up with who is a patron, and sometimes I fall behind. So I'm not finished with you, Hypnotic, and thank you for pointing that out. What I would like to do, though, is ask the first question that we always do with regard to building worlds. What is the name of the world? I have a template ready to go. I'm going to fill in the gaps. I'm going to pull your stuff in. So here we go. Let's start with that question. What is the name? So the whole point is to prove that you can do this in about an hour and a half. What is the name of the world or continents? I don't care whether we're dealing with continents or something else. This is our prompt. Let's do that. First thing. It's under my real... Oh, that's why Zach ends with an E. Is that why I can't figure it out? That'll be why. Patreon. So now that you've told me this, how long, Zach, have you been with us? Let's have a look. Let's have a quick peek. I have 2 pieces of paper, by the way. You know how I was talking about basically doing top down and bottom up? I'm going to show you how to do this very fast. Oh, Zach Ersman. Ah, now I know who it is. Thank you, Zach. Awesome. Hello, Pale Rider. How you doing, buddy? Nice to have you. All right, start throwing those names out. This is what I'm going to do. I am going to, in the time that it takes for you guys to come up with a few names, probably faster, I'm going to start drawing the world. Here it is. I'm not going to go to a webcam on my desk. I'm just going to see this piece of paper here. Piece of paper. All right. Maybe I should. Should I go to a webcam? I don't know. Do I feel like that this is necessary? Do I need to go to a webcam to make my point? Would it help you? Would it be more of a hindrance? No. We'll just go to the webcam. This very quickly. You guys have got time to think now. Yeah. Why not? Let's do it the good old way. My webcams are actually working now, so that's helpful. But so a piece of paper, blank piece of paper. Yeah. Dungeon Master Guide underneath. Maybe I'll flip it just in case I may mark it. I got a black pen. I'm going to go with top-down world building. This is what you do. Ta-da! I want a couple of continents, and this bit here, and that bit there, and maybe a little bit this, maybe a couple of islands, and yeah, that'll do. How long did that take me? Less than 30 seconds. I now have the basics. It doesn't look pretty, but that's the basics of my new world. What's it going to be called? You guys are going to determine that. I'm not worried about that. Finish that. That's top down. Now I need to, I feel like I need to have a small location where they start, because I was talking about small locations where you start. What do we do here? I know, we'll just do a village. Now most villages are made up of one main street that's either one length of road and with the buildings either side, or a cross, like a crossroads. That's it. So let's just go with one road. And there's a road, and I need a couple of buildings. Probably going to have something like a general store, maybe a hardware store, maybe a school, maybe a big building for a meeting room, maybe a windmill here, various things, maybe a little shed here. I don't know what that is. And okay, yeah, okay, that's sort of, that'll do. Okay, there's my village. That's the start. I have got to give my village a name. Might need to name all the buildings. That took me maybe by under a minute. So that is basically bottom up. Start small and then get bigger. I broaden it out over time. Essentially, these two pieces of paper are the beginning of your drawings for your world building. That's it. For those of you who always thought that it was hard, it is not. Okay? So now that you've done that bit, we need to start going through all the various names that people are throwing at me in chat. And I'm going to share with you a Google Doc, just briefly. I'm going to get rid of my hat. You know what happens. If I throw the hat off, it means I'm serious, right? And we're going to get a cracking with the important part, which is actually compiling all your ideas into something that we can either use or not use. It's really completely up to you. And if I'm a good boy, I'll make sure this goes up into Patreon in a timely manner. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. We'll see. Anyway, so let's go here. Practical world building. And this is my document here. This is just a Google Doc. This is my template. That's all I've got here. That's all I need to worry about. So let's just go down. And while you guys are coming up with names, I think he may have exhausted it. Usually when we get to about 10 names, I'm like, okay, we can stop now. So let's go with a number. It makes it easier for me to, whoops, that didn't work. Try that again. So there, number, cool. Drop, down, and then drop, space, space, space. Let's just keep doing spaces in here. I can guarantee you by the time this live stream finishes, which isn't going to be that far off, we will have pretty much what we need for our world. It'll be done. At least the beginning of it. Maybe not all of it. But that's not what you're worried about. You're just trying to get going. So let's just start collecting up some names. And I think that's good enough. Have I got a bit of a head start on you guys? I don't know. Usually this takes me a lot of running around. So now that we've done that, I'm going to torture you with my face while I cut and paste from the chat. Since there are a bunch of ideas here, please feel free to share anything with you. As long as you don't come up with a name that's horrifically offensive, I'm pretty much going to put it down. It's not going to be a problem. I'm wondering if I got Hypnotic's name right. All right, so I did get the right Zach. All right, cool. Aha. All right, so Fred has got, is it Murdy? Murdy is the world name. I don't mind. You picked it. We can put that anywhere. It doesn't matter. Evtara from Calrel. Evtara. Okay, let's include Evtara. My general feeling is that I'm probably going to find that you guys have come up with so many different names. Oh, no, we're not as many as I thought. Rowan. Pale Rider's got Mix Rowan. Okay, let's put this one in here. Okay. All right. And you don't even have to like the names, people, because as I said, names can change. You can have more than one name for a world. You don't have to be stuck to stuff. I know this is often one of the problems that people have is like, I don't want to do this because I want to get the name and the law right, and like all of the stuff can be modified, you know. Misinformation is part of your world as well. The truth is not known. The truth is out there, and your players are coming to find it. The known world, yes. Print some hex grid paper. Yes, you can use hex grid. You don't have to. I honestly think it doesn't matter. Use a blank piece of paper. All good. Candonut. What? Is there a hidden message in there somewhere? Fred Huber? I feel like you may have Now, any of these names that are put forward could be the name of the world or the name of a village. Now, whether you like starting with a village or starting with the world map, the continents and so forth, it doesn't matter. I recommend do both. It ain't going to take you any more time, frankly. I mean, if I can draw those things with a pen in the time frame that I did, why can't you? It's just not an issue. Just knock it out. Get it done. So we've got 8 names. Come on, give me 2 more and we'll move on and we'll start dealing with races. Races and species. Remember, when you have a different type of creature, okay, murd, poop in a couple of languages. Oh, yeah, of course it is. Finish for lost. I should have guessed Fred. Okay, come on people. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, press the subscribe button and 5 minutes later you can type into the chat and just share your ideas and we're all good. I want 2 more ideas because we don't have quite as many as I would like. I like to have a nice selection just to get people started. And since there's enough brains in this room, we should be able to get this done. I don't want to share my ideas because it just becomes about me. And that's not really, it's not what the stream is supposed to be about. It's about you figuring out how to do this. I do this all the time. I've done this many times. It is as unnecessary for me to do it in this live stream. You guys do it. You guys do it. You can handle this. Okay, so we have some more. Tell me the good news. I'd like to think that we've got a few more. Yeah? Do we? No, we don't. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, fine. I will. Oh, there we go. There we go. 2 more. I will add those. Let's give you a new task. New task is we're going to come up with a species and race. Now, a species is a completely different sort of thing from a human, right? You know, when you think about humans, there are races within the human concept, but there might be races within the dwarves or the elves. So there's variations of the same thing. So when we say race, what we really mean is both species and race, because you can have both going on. Yeah. It's just a slightly different definition. They're kind of used interchangeably nowadays. What are the species or races in the world? We only need to have 5. That's it. What are the species and races in the world? Pick anything you like. Make something up. Does it matter? It really doesn't. Honestly, it does not matter. Pale Rider, thank you for that. I will drop that into our list of names for worlds and continents. So I think we got 10 now out of the ones that you've chucked into chat. Aziri, that's from Joe, Overboard. Okay, got that. That's in. And I think we're going to be on to dealing with races in a second. I want to say Raven, but I'm such a rip-off artist. Ravin. That's right, I don't care. You spell it differently and it's no IP anymore, right? You put 2 E's in there and you solved your problem. There you go. So for those of you who are wanting to use an existing IP and you don't want to look like you're just like cheating and so forth, just take that name and just add in a few more vowels and you're sorted out. Solve that problem. You have now created something new. Yeah, that's often what creation is. It's just modifying something that already exists. So you do not need to concern yourself quite so much about this. You're not publishing this anyway, right? You're not publishing a world. You're making something for you and your home group. It doesn't have to be published. Anyway, we're dealing with races next. And it would be good if you give me a race or a species, if you give me an idea of what they look like, particularly if it's not obvious. So Jasper, you've given me something, but I was expecting some sort of cat-like race from you. We've got Avistran. Avistran is a race. I don't know what Avistran is. I don't have all the details, but that's all right. Avistran, we'll just make up the rest of that later. We have got Avistran as an option, but we know no more. So Avistran, Jasper. We have Fred Huber has got the Awakened Crocodile. So are they called awakened crocodiles or do they have a specific name? You know what I mean? Are they called the croc? Are they called crocodiles? I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I just got here, awakened crocodile. Bee people, humanoid wasp crossover. Okay, all right. We can call them bee folk, bee people, bee folk, or bee people, humanoid wasp crossover. There we go. And there we go. We got that in there. Nice job there. Pretty good. Hypnotic. Great. Awesome. A 2-inch tall gnome with purple skin. What is that related to? A 2-inch purple gnome with... I mean, what are they called? It's basically a gnome. It's purple gnomes. Purple gnomes. Okay, all right. We're concluding purple gnomes. All right. Oh, come on. Let me do it the right way. Do it again. Yes! Okay. Gnomes with purple skin. All right, I got that. What are they called? I don't know. Who cares? We'll just keep... Beeple. Beeple. Matthew. Is it Matthew? Matthew. If I got your name right, please let me know. If I ballsed it up, let me know too. Beeple. I think I can live with that. Beeple. I think this is related to the bee wasp people, isn't it? Beeple. Beeple. There we go. Cool. We almost got 5. Croconoids. There we go. Croconoids. There we go. So people are filling out all the details for me now. There we go. Awesome. Oh. Calrel has decided he's just going to rattle off a whole bunch of names. Call blimey. Hello, Nacho. Nacho is also a patron. Thanks for being here, buddy. Let's see. Let's see if we can get it all in. Don't know. Trying. No, that's not working. Let's go down. Let's put it there. I think we have more than enough. I will keep cutting and pasting this stuff in and show you shortly. But I think we should move on to the next task. You guys have covered everything pretty well. We got more than 5. All right? There's plenty of options. The players, they're not going to be starved for options. They'll survive. Okay. What are the gods and goddesses of this world? Oh, did I do the creation story? No, we're doing gods and goddesses first. Okay. So hashtag. What are the gods and goddesses of the world? Now, come on, Fred, get it right. World. So give me the name and domain. Main. Do it that way. Just try that. See how you go. We're doing pretty well. I mean, we're munching through this pretty quickly. It's just more about me trying to get everything in the right place now. We'll get Fred's idea sorted out. I will show you what I've got here in a second, but there's a lot of cutting and pasting going on and dropping stuff in, moving around stuff, typing. No, got that. Oh, here we go. This is Raven, bipedal humanoids. Thank you very much, Jasper. I appreciate that. Now I have something to put to the name. Paste. There we go. Raven-like bipedal humanoids, innate magic, use and divine and abjuration. Okay. I think we've got that nailed. We need to go here and drop this down. There's a lot going on here. Whew. Oh, is that a fire? Hope not. My smoked. I don't even think it's a smoke detector. I think it's a heat detector. Must be a hot day today. Something's going on. In winter, of all times. Can't imagine why. Okay, so I've got more than I needed here. I am just trying to get them down now. Okay, there's rather a lot of ideas, so just bear with me as I crunch my way through here, typing down your ideas and doing some cutting and pasting. And I'm getting closer. Getting closer. Okay, so like that. How are we doing? Looks to me like the gods are on their way. I can see we've got a few coming. Kimura. Hello, Kimura. If I got your name right, great. If I didn't, again, I apologise. I think you've been here before, haven't you? I'm sure you have. I'm pretty sure. Hey, I'm just here for a minute, but wanted to share my love of the stream, Fred. Thanks for making such a fun and inclusive community. You are welcome. Without the community, I probably would have stopped doing this a while back. It's true. Without the likes of Nacho Man and Fred Huber, I would say a big impact has been Fred Huber, Pale Rider, Agile Monk, Overboard, and there's so many more, and I'm probably not going to name them all. Heck, I was talking to Jasper and Fred Huber and Nacho and Big Kid on the weekend, and yeah, it was a great discussion. Got a lot done. Cows with guns. Oh God. So humanoid cows. Okay. All right. Of course, this is the thing that people want to play. The beeple. The beeple. Human. Okay, so Pale Rider's just gone and listed everything you could possibly think of under the sun. Lovely. I'm almost through the race and species stuff, people, and I'll share that with you in a second. But if you hadn't figured it out, there's rather a lot. I'm just gonna make this a huge list here. Race, bird, insectoid, humanoids, merfolk. Yeah, we were doing merfolk. We were doing merfolk the other day. Last week, wasn't it? I'm sure it was. Minotaur. And that's Minotaur. No. Folk. Shapeshifter. Got a lot. Okay, let's see. What else? I had one more, I think. Noggin Boggles, gnome-like creature with oversized heads. Noggin Boggles. Noggin Boggles. Blimey. Noggin Boggles. Noggin, let's just Noggin Boggles. There we go. Is there one more? Gillies, reddish brown skin for. Okay, all right, Joe, I've got it. Just trucking it over. So we got 15 playable races. We didn't need anywhere near that many. Okay, we didn't need anywhere near that many. So let me share that with you now. So we've got a bunch of names for our world or continents, which we can either use or throw away. We've got races coming out our ears. I always recommend to start with 5. You know, 5's a good number, and just go from there. You don't have to make everything available. It's you know, it doesn't have to be that diverse a world. It doesn't need to be that crazy in terms of how it's laid out. It can be as simple as you have humans and you have elves, if you want. Or you just have humans. Different races of humans, that would be fine too. Gods, we're dealing with gods right now, and I'm going to go and plug in and go through your list that you've come up with in a second. But before we do that, I'm going to do a little bit of formatting quickly as I try to keep up with the barrage of information. Usually what happens in these live streams with world building is people just get really excited and they just throw lots and lots of ideas at me, and I just try to keep up with everything. So I am not doing the work. The community is doing the work. And you get the right people together, and that you don't have to worry about. This is why I recommend use your players. Yeah? Poach and steal the concepts from the brains of your players. Sometimes they're good ideas, sometimes they're bad, but it saves a lot of trouble trying to figure out everything yourself. Okay, now that I've done that, I think I have just ballsed things up and given you a crossover of my face and something else. There we go. I'm back. I'll show you the what the document looks like in a second. We're going to take your concepts around gods and goddesses, which I believe there are all types going on here right now. I reckon 5 is enough. We get to 5, we stop. Okay, so copy and paste. I'll do 5, and then we're moving on to the next thing. Kandon, the deity of bad directions. Okay. You haven't specified whether it's god or goddess, so it must go both ways. Okay. Next, Wumbalus. Wumbalus, the god of misplaced socks and minor inconveniences. Nacho. So Fred Huber has led us off on a bad direction, and Nacho is leading us on a hunt for our socks, hankies, and underwear. Well done. Okay. Do you think there is a god of misplaced underwear, socks, and hankies? Oh, Kerplop, the deity of poo. Fred, everybody here, if you haven't figured it out, people, everybody here is taking this very, very seriously. They take their world creation super, super seriously. Nothing in my live streams has anything but serious creation going on. Nyx, Chaos, Luna, Peace, Healing, Mulch, Evil. I don't know what the heck is going on here, Pale Rider. Are you trying to include a whole lot of things all at once? I think that's like a couple of them already. He's just trying to move us forward, isn't he? Okay, I think that's one. Nyx is Chaos. Luna is it Peace and Healing? Okay. Luna, Peace and Healing. Peace and Healing. And Mulch, Evil. Mollich. I think I've heard of the name Mollich before. Well, we have definitely got more than what we needed. We've got enough. So let's move on to the next thing. Okay, I will take down your ideas. Don't worry, people. I will take down your ideas. I haven't forgotten you. It will happen. Let us deal with the creation story. You remember I was talking about different types of creation stories? Come up with a 1, 2, 3 sentence creation story. Hashtag, what is the creation story of the world? This usually generates some very interesting ideas. Dun dun dun. So, knock yourselves out, come up with something. I've been here, you helped me tons to get my game mastering off the ground. You got my name right. I can't believe I did. Frankly, I have no idea how that was possible, but that's good news. Machu, is it Machu? Machu, Slog the Wild, god of swamp people. Oh, okay. Let's take your name here. See if we can't include it here. And a little bit of formatting. Press a button here. Drop that down. Wailing one deity. Goddess of wind. Oh, wailing. The wailing one. Okay, Joe. I got it. The wailing one. Goddess of winds. Okay, and there's a few more to go. Really good spicy cheese. Nice. As I said, not all ideas are going to be gold. You can remove some of your players' suggestions. You do not have to absorb everything that they come up with. Oh dear. So for those of you who haven't figured it out, we have so much fun in these world building sessions that usually things get kind of crazy. And I'm just sitting here cutting and pasting basically the whole time, and then putting in a prompt every once in a while. For those of you who really thought, oh my God, it is so hard to build a world, I can't do it. Trust me, get the right people together and you're all good. Humanoid cows must have guns. Do they? Really? Do they? I feel like there's a one-way thought pattern there. Really? They stuck black powder in their horns. Oh, God. I know where this is going. Jasper, what have you got here? You have got a bunch of them. Okay, let's see if I can dissect all this. All-Father good. Oh, the All-Father. Yeah, there's a lot here. Let me just see if I can... Zemini, the creation god, I guess. Next one, Palavin. I can't pronounce half this stuff, people. Fertility and all right, that word. The the bonking one. The bonking one. Fertility and the bonking one. Should have guessed. Azari, death, beauty, and magic. Oh, okay. What a combination. We got another one. Whatever. Something about disease. Disease and decay. The deity of disease and decay. Of course, there's always one of those. War and floods. Why is it specifically floods? War and floods. Do they go together nicely? Do they? Here we go. War and floods. That's 15 already. My God, there's a lot here. And I can see the bottom in the next question that I put forward, which is thank God for that. I'm glad that's good news. Sheesh. Oh, I will show everybody what I've done in here. I have put. You'll be able to see if I put your ideas in or not. And generally I have. Okay, generally I have. But the list is getting long. Tiamat, War, Conquest, Dark Magic. Right. So for those of you, Tiamat is not IP of Wizards of the Coast. Okay. Their version of Tiamat might be IP, but not Tiamat, the name itself. So just for those of you who are wondering, there you go. You do a little bit of research and you find out lots of stuff. Because remember, Dungeons and Dragons appropriates everything, even when it doesn't belong to them. Instra Troll, Queen of Swarms, the High Power of Insects. Calrel, that is a very in-depth rundown. You've really thought about that, haven't you? All right, let's get this in. Clearly a goddess. Just keep moving. City name. Why are we going on to city names? We are not doing locations yet. We haven't jumped there. You're jumping the gun. Is it because I was highlighting some stuff and you decided to jump in? Oh, let's put this in. Yes, there should be a deity of lost socks. Okay. Let's have a look. I believe that the creation stories should be pretty thick. We've got quite a few creation stories going. Usually I just stick, when we get to 5, I'll stop. Okay, then we'll stop. How are we doing for time? Are we running out of time? Maybe we are. We've probably spent way too much time on deities, but this happens. Paste. Okay. Okay, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to move on. So we're going to move on and we'll do locations. I'm pretty sure you guys have come up with 5 creation stories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Yeah, there's at least 5 there now. Hello, Negative Space. How you doing? Let's do the next one. What's the next thing after creation stories? It's going to be locations. Hashtag locations. Landmarks. Name and what it is would be helpful. Okay, here we go. Add trying to the poll. Trying? No, incomplete is trying. Negative space. Incomplete is trying. Okay, let me at least show you what they have come up with so far. And that's just with gods and goddesses. Like there's a few. So if you were wondering, is it possible to get it done in a decent time frame? Yes, it is. It is. It definitely is. So we've got all of these. I've right that yeah, it keeps going. Oh, look, almost 19 of these things. Some have more detail than the others. It doesn't matter. Basic idea: name, domain. What are they a god of, goddess of, whatever it is. Move on. Okay. I'll put in the creation stories in a second. And then we're going to start getting into the other stuff, which will be interesting. So we're doing pretty well, I think. I think we're smashing our way through this quite nicely, actually. So let's have a look at some of these creation stories, which I will read out as I go. And, okay. The Great Bull pooed out the world. The Barovian legend. Okay. It's a very earthy story, you know. It's got that very natural feel. Pooed out the world. The Barovian legend. Barovinoid legend. Yes, that's because the cow people. Of course. Oh, I missed that. Hypnotic, what have you got here? Yep, Nacho's back to work. I knew he would be. It's all good, mate. I'm going to have to go to work shortly too. A massive primal entity picked his nose and flicked it. His booger hardened, crusted, and became infected with life. I feel like we've had something like that in the past. So I'm going to have to... You don't get points for that idea, because I'm sure that somebody in the past has presented that as a creation story for the world. Next, 2 brother titans. Oh, Pale Rider, what have you got here? Let's have a look. So I'm just reading it now. 2 brother titans fought. One died. Okay. One died, and the other what? Gave. All right, gave. Here we go. Gave his life to bring back his brother as the world. Ah. Nice. I like that. It was pretty good. It's pretty simple. It's to the point. Good one. All right. What have you got here, Fred Hoover? Mm-hmm. Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was something else. Okay. Next. Kandon gave bad directions to an earth elemental who is now forever going in circles and had petrified to become the world. And had become petrified. That's cute. I like that. Want to include that there. We now have 4 creation stories, all very different from each other. And now we have overboards. Let's have a look and see what you've got come up with. Yeah. Next. The world is used as a testing ground to develop the perfect hybrid creatures. Nobody has seen the flying metal vessels in many years. Who are they, and are they coming back? Oh, this is the alien seeded the world concept. Joe, you've been watching way too much of the Y-Files. Way too much. Okay, a celestial dragon. Oh, here we go. We got a celestial dragon. Is there going to be a world creation story around this? Yes, it looks like it. We now have 5. We have more than enough, by the way, people. We don't have to have more. We're pretty good in terms of creation stories, which is why I gave you the next prompt. A celestial dragon laid her egg that became the world. The world will end when it hatches. Oh no! Oh dear! Everything is living on there is going to have a big bad day when it hatches. I usually take the Norse deities and rename them. Yeah, why not? Do that. Babylonian goddess Tiamat. Yeah. Is anything weirder than coming from the god's armpit? Okay, the world came from a god's armpit. We've had that before too, I think. The world came from the god's armpit hairs. Can I just say to people who think this is crazy stuff, if you look at world creation stories, they are bat crazy nuts. Like if you look at the types of stories that are told, like the story of New Zealand and how the islands came up here in my own country, Aotearoa. Maui went fishing and pulled up the island. Like that's, he went fishing and he just pulled it out of the sea like a fish. And, so that's, the stories, creation stories are always absolutely bat nuts crazy. And that's fine. That's all good. Okay, so we're going to go through our various land locations. As I said, we only really need 2, but 5 is enough. I'm going to at least share with you the creation stories people have given me. I'm going to get you onto monsters. If I trigger you on monsters, you guys always no. If I do monsters, it's going to get out of control real fast. Magic. We're going to skip monsters or come back to them. Hashtag. How does magic work in the world? You don't have to answer this question, but this is usually a question they like answering, so we're going to do this. How does magic work in the world? There you go. Knock yourselves out, people. I'm sure you will, and I will at least show you all of the creation stories that I've listed down. As I said before, you don't have to have that many. You can have 1. And there are currently 7 sitting here. Some are crazier than others, but when you think about how the world creation stories work on Earth, these can work. These are all right. It's all good. You pick the one that works for you. The one you don't, you modify or you throw it away. But we've got plenty going on here. Okay, so those are them. So I'm going to start putting in your locations while you're working on magic. For those of you who feel like you've been deprived of monsters, just suck it up. We'll get to them. I'll do them last because I know it'll happen. I will not be able to keep up. So we're going to do that. Do it later. Magic. Okay. Let's do locations. I think we've got your city already in locations. Yes, we do. Yes, I was pretty sure. It's a city. Let's do this. Composite casa. City. We don't know what sort of city it is. Doesn't matter. Moving on. Where is it? Next. City name. It's on it's a round, large diameter, but not very tall. But not a very tall hill. Okay. All right. So a little bit more extra detail from Fred Hoover. Let's take that. See if I can incorporate that into the document somehow. Paste. And we move on to the next thing. What else? We've got negative space. The cliff of ringing. Ooh, it sounds good. I'm going to probably read it, plug it in, and then realize there's something whack going on here. Let's have a look. They do this to me. The cliff of ringing. This network of canyons amplifies sound enough that it makes inhabitants' ears ring. Oh, cool. I like it. Nice job. For a second there, I thought we were going to get a bit dirty, but that's nice. Good. City of the Old Gods. Capital coast city built on ancient ruins. Thank you, Pale Rider. I appreciate that. And so, yes, we can include this. Whew. And we've got another one, another location. We've got cities. The Pestilence Plains by Overboard. Dun dun dun. You guys are doing really good. I mean, really, the extent of I jump into a live stream, I talk for half an hour. It's the hardest part. It's me just blabbing for half an hour about world building. And then you guys just do all the demonstration stuff, and I just sit back here and just copy and paste and then show you what I've put in here. Okay, Pestilence Plains, a smelly, disgusting plain that actually grows food very well, but not many can stand the stench. It's not the bog of eternal stench, it's the plains of eternal stench. Hypnotic, what have you got here? I was just popping in, I'm off to bed, no problems. Negative space is probably already gone, but hey, thanks for hanging out. Let's keep going, because we've still got a few more things to complete. The teeth. The teeth. Now, what is the teeth? A massive something. A massive part of the continent that is now jagged, as it was once two large continents that were violently and suddenly ripped apart a millennia ago. Nice. I like that. That's cool. All right. We've got a bit of earthquake action. Pools of Shadow. Here we go. Cal-Rel's Pools of Shadow. You know what the problem is with Pools of Shadow, right? You can't see what's in the water. Pools of Shadow. Here we go. Pools of Shadow. Oh, it's direct portal to the Far Realm. Oh. Okay. A direct portal. Direct portals. So it's okay. DDD. Direct portals to the Far Realm. Sure. Next, what do we got here? Camelback Mountain. Isn't that a real place? Isn't there a place called Camelback Mountain, or is that Brokeback Mountain in a movie? I can't remember. What up? Hello, how are you? Yes, we're doing... hello, Derp. I'm glad you could make it. We are doing a bit of world building. Apparently, some idiot on a live stream said it can be done in an hour and a half, and has done it more than a few times. So thought we'd just do it again. Okay, Camelback Mountains. Two great mountains that can be seen from many miles away. Okay, nice and simple. We have more than 5, so we're pretty good with that. I feel like we've done really well. Magic. You guys are doing some nice stuff here. You got to fill in the silence. Look, when you're on your own, you have to talk a lot. This is the issue with me doing a solo live stream. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, frankly, I must come across as a jacked up or drug taking, pee using something who's, maybe just been taking too much meth or something like that. But it's not. I'm just trying to keep things moving. It's really all that's going on right now. All right, Jasper, what have you got here? I feel like we might have got more than enough in terms of the how magic works. But you were thinking of that? Let me get to the bottom of this. I've almost finished plugging in our locations. We've got plenty of locations now. Okay. I don't know what this, the Pazinthian, the sea. The sea that borders the starting campaign area. What? Mountain range. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I think I understand now. I'm lost. A sea. It's a sea of water. Okay, all right. You used the magic word, campaign. Is the surest way to lose me, okay? As I had said before, making a world is not making a campaign. It is not making an adventure. It is a different thing. So as soon as you start talking about that, you've lost me. Closest mountain range. Okay. So it's a mountain range. So we've got that. And then we've got a local dark forbidden forest. You've got a few ideas here. Okay, I think we've definitely covered our locations. You've got a nice little variety of things going on here. How do you manage to squeeze it into one sentence? Creative. Some sort of creative grammar. I pulled it apart. The golden plains of the Vestali elves, cannibal raiders who ride on saber-toothed cats. You know, Jasper would love that. You know, Jasper's going to be right into. Is it a battle cat? Golden plains. The grasslands. Anything else, right? I don't know. Saber-tooth cats. Okay, all right, I got that. I think I've got all of. Oh no, we've got one more. Finished. A compost heap. Yeah, I figured it might be. I did suspect that. Okay, so we are dealing with magic. How are we doing with magic? Let me first show you how we did with all of these different locations. We have a bunch of locations. We've got some cities, we've got some canyons, we've got some plains, we've got what looks like some sort of canyon, or we've got mountains, we've got a body of water, more mountain ranges, forest, yeah. So bunch of things that we can include. Is this enough? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to start plugging in the magic stuff in a second. But before I do that, Fred is losing his mind a little bit, just a little bit. We're going to deal with the next thing, which is technology. Technology is a thing. What technology is in the world? Now, I find that the technology section that we usually do, people go super nuts and crazy. What technology is in the world? Okay, I have listed some ideas already when I did this presentation at the beginning, so I'm not going to go over them again if I can help it. But I will drink some water. All right, so magic. Magic requires the special yellow water of a certain river. Okay, Fred Hoover, you sold me on the fact that it was simple enough to write down. So, cool. Which, of course, I'm just cutting and pasting if you hadn't figured it out. We have a location, a castle from Overboard, so I'll take that castle. Is it made of crabs? Crustaceans castle. made of dead crabs and other crustaceans. Noish. Noish. We'll take that one. Thank you very much. I understand what that is. The celestial dragon gave the world hope and created 9 moons for the world's people to escape. Okay, so this is a creation story. The world hope and created 2 moons for the world's people to escape to. I'm not sure what that's related to. I think this is around magic. The celestial dragon. I think this is about magic. I'm pretty sure. Escape 2. All right. As in 2, as in 2 zeros. Okay. 2 O's. 2 O's. 9 moons. 9 moons. 9 moons. Okay. Jasper, Fred Herbert is going to take the piss as much as he possibly can. And the poo. It happens in my live streams a lot. Okay, Dirt is also a patron. What do you got here? For every spell cast, a word is forgotten. Oh, really? It's much worse than Vancian magic. Dear. For every spell cast, a word is forgotten. The oldest mages can no longer speak clearly because of their stuttering vocabularies. Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. Magic is drawn from cosmic energy. Fair enough. And of course, what is a cosmic energy? An unknowable thing. Basically magic. There we go. All right, cosmic energy. Yes. Wonderful. The battle cats. Magic is strongest during Solace, weakest during Excellent. Okay. All right. So we're basing it off the movement of the moon, the tides, something like that. Okay. All right. That's fine. You can have that. We got it. It's in. It's in. It's done. Magic only works in moonlight. Oh, okay. For those of you who are wondering, can I use all these ideas all at once? Yeah, you could. You could have a lot of people thinking that magic works. I mean, the fact that they might not even do magic, but they think that it works in moonlight because the moon has got light coming from it, so it must be magic, right? Magic is drawn from unborn souls. Really? Ooh, okay, this is getting dark. Where are you going with this, Pale Rider? Is this a sacrificing children again? Magic is drawn from unborn souls. The less people on the world, the stronger the magic. Oh my god. I can see where this is going. Someone's going to get a bright idea. And decide that wiping out everybody in the world is a great idea to get more magic power. It's an interesting idea. Potentially leading to genocide. Okay, all right. The Weeping Crag. Oh, planets crushed by meteorite from plain water. I have no idea what I'm just written down here, Cal-Rel. I've got no idea what this is, the Weeping Crag. Oh, it's a location. Okay, it's a location. So I just need to cut this and put this into locations, don't I? Where's locations? Is that locations there? Okay, all right. Paste that there. Sweet. I was back to magic, I think. I just majorly messed with mages. Yeah, you did. So, horrific magic. Every time you cast a spell, where is this leading, Joe? Oh, this is getting very dark. The darkness is showing in you people. Really? I think we've got enough magic. Have we got enough technology stuff now? No, it's pretty tame on the technology. Doesn't like people just say there is no technology. Brokeback Mountain. Oh, is it Brokeback? Okay, all right. So how does this magic work? Horrific magic. Every time you cast a spell of this type, a living thing dies. Oh, it's like Dark Sun. Random table of all living creatures in the world. Okay, all right. I don't think we need to worry about that bit, but we've certainly got something dies. It's very dark sun. Magic sucks out things. What do you got here? Magical radiation. Oh, okay. Let's put a little magical radiation thing in there. Magical radiation. Special metals can be used to collect and redirect energies. Okay. All right, so this is like, we had a sort of metal magic in the past. Birds are lucky. Sometimes they restore spell slots when you hear... okay, all right. Singing birds restore magic. Nice, nice. Birds are lucky. Sometimes they restore spells and magic. Okay. Wonderful. I've got that down. And okay, magic is dead. Oh, we've got lots of different things going on here. You've got a lot of twists here, people. A lot going on. Okay, I think I'm just about ready to share this with people. Magic is dead now, only in existing procreated magic items. What? What? It can be destroyed, and magic used to fuel new items of more powerful. Okay, I'm a little lost as to that sentence. I'm trying to figure out how it works, but I'm not going to figure it out because my brain is not capable of doing that right now. But I will share it with you. So this is where we have our magic. Okay, we have got magic coming out our ears. There are different approaches. You don't have to use all of them. Use some of them. Use none of them. Modify them. And you can have different types of magic existing in your world in different locations too. Okay, I think we had technology next on the cards. And I'm hoping that technology is mostly nailed down. I want just 5 things about technology, and then we'll move on. No technology except fire. I think we've got enough technology stuff. Okay, I'm going to give you the question. The next question, hashtag. No, we're not doing monsters yet. Stop it. Stop putting the hashtag in there. Overboard? Cut it out. Okay, what government... I'm not ready for monsters and creatures. I know I won't be able to keep up if I put that in next. So don't do it. What governments are in the world? Okay, that is the question. Not the other thing that was there. We're going to move this up a bit. Yes, got it. Haha, you might be a moderator overboard, but I have the power. Stop with it. No, don't do it. You governments next. Ay. Hijacking the live stream. Okay, all right. Steam power. Next is steam power. Steam heated by captive fire elementals? Oh, okay. All right. It's like a combination of technology and creature power. It's an interesting idea. Why not? No technology except for fire. Okay, all right. Yeah, let's just keep tracking these in. That's Fred Huber's contribution. Tamed white dragon uses their breath to make kegs of ice cream. Oh, really? Fred, that's very funny. Very funny. Nice. You can never have too much ice cream in the world. It's just about whether you should eat it. Here we go. Next. Hamsters the size of horses. Really? This is the technology? So hamsters the size of horses run in wheels, run the ice cream churns. Oh my God. Okay, so basically a giant hamster is running around in the world generating power and running machines. Not necessarily ice cream churns, but and wheels run the machines. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Tulsa type electricity, no gunpowder. What is Tulsa type electricity, Pale Rider? The no gunpowder, I understand. But what is Tulsa type? Does Tulsa even know what type they have? Do you know what I mean? Techno, psionics, marriage, and science. Okay, so there's a mixture going on here. All right, so there's a Cal-Rel. I'll take your idea. We'll plug it in. I think we're up to almost is this 6 ideas essentially on technology. How are we doing for time? We're doing all right. Techno, psionics, marriage of science, psionics, and psionics, and psionics. Science made tech power by sonic energies. Okay, I think I got the basic gist of what you're doing in here. Okay, I think here you're trying to include techno, psionics, marriage of science and psionics. Yep, I understand. Let's keep it simple. Keep it simple. Every 6 months there's a major shower of these bacteria. What bacteria? Mustard had a group that used radiation for spells. What? Mustard? Mustard. How do we get to mustard? I have no idea how that worked. How does mustard come into this? Use radiation for spells. Is this about mustard? Is this mustard magic or is this mustard technology? Mustard that had a group that used radiation for spells. I feel like this is magic. This is not technology. These are mustard spells. How did they? Like this reminds me of the time we had snail power and snail magic, and snail slime technology stuff going on, or the mushroom stuff. Okay, no. Oh, oozes are water filters. Oh, I see. This is not an actual monster thing. This is technology. Right, I guess a technology thing. Okay, all right. I think we're on to government. You guys are working on government, right? You haven't been waylaid by one of my moderators and started talking about monsters. Let's see what we've got here. Pale Rider's got the first idea. I want 5 ideas, and then we'll move on to your monsters, people. Okay? 5 decent ideas that aren't taking the piss either out of me or the whole process. 5. Totalitarian, Free Republic, and Democratic Council. So you've actually just listed, you've just listed 3. You just wanted to get it out of the way. Now I see what you're doing there, because you knew I was going to say about 5, so you just listed 3. yeah, and it gave me no more detail other than 1 word. Pale Rider, nice job, well done. The government is secretly mind flayers. Derp, wonderful, I'll take that. The illithids have run the world, and you just don't know it. It's like the lizard people, the lizard aliens who run our world, right? Here we go. I also made white dragon air conditioners, but don't want them to sneeze. Oh, good Lord. All right. Okay. All right. So white dragon air conditioners is our technology. Technology here. Okay, so we need just a little bit more information on government, and then I will unleash you with your monster ideas, but not yet. So hold fire. Okay, hold. Tulsa type electricity is like Wi-Fi electricity. Oh, okay, all right. Oh, I see. You mean like oh God, what's it called? Darn it, the ether. You're talking about like the ether theory. Okay, I think I understand. Ether. I get it now. Ether. All right, I understand what you're trying to communicate there. Got it. Next. One realm is ruled by... Oh, okay, we got... Oh, one realm is ruled by orcs. Here we go. We're talking about orcs. Orcs is one of my favourite topics, by the way, people, if you hadn't figured it out. Play an orc as much as I possibly could. If I half orcs, way too many half orcs for me, man. And the fact that the half orc has been removed from the new player's handbook and replaced with a full orc just makes me think, yay. The only thing is they work exactly the same as the half orc. What was the point? Anyway, one realm is ruled by orcs, another by mind flayers, and another by an ancient red dragon, another by a secret cabal of lizard people. Okay, so we've got a few ideas going on there, and I think we've got one more. Medusa opus. What about Medusa octopus? Medusa octopus. The lizard people. Here we go. Okay, let me just grab this. Council of the Three Planes. I don't know what that really means, but yeah. Council of the Three Planes. There's a lot of planes on this world of the Three Planes. And then we got one more government. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to unleash you. We've got what we needed. Hashtag. What monsters are in the world? Just watch as they unload, okay? This is going to get a little bit nuts, because usually when I ask this question, things get very, very crazy. The next 10 minutes are just going to be a barrage of monster ideas. Medusa octopus is already in there. Okay, now we're going to get to finish off the government stuff. A strictly theocracy that uses Spanish Inquisition level of law enforcement. Okay, all right. Sure, why not? We can do that. I will show you what I've plugged in here in a second, given the strong rule. Hashtag monsters now question. Which is okay. All right, here we go. Here are flying cats. Is that Jasper? Yes, it is. Flying battle cats. Where's the flying battle cat? I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I'm actually kind of losing it. Half of the vicious. What is this? This is monsters, isn't it? We're on to monsters. Let me just find the area. Okay. Let me show people what we've got for government. We did technology, we did government. If you hadn't figured it out, this group of individuals are not hugely interested in the technology and government section. So hence the speed at which it was pumped out. Technology, we've got a whole bunch of different ideas, various things. A lot of these linked to various creatures and monsters. Then we have our government, and we have about 7 different ideas, okay? If you want more government ideas, this is probably not the live stream for today that you're going to be in, because they're clearly on a monster rage. Now that I've given them monsters, I'm just going to sit back, have a sleep for the next couple of minutes while they release. Release now. All right, let's see if I can't plug in your monsters, people. Let's get your monsters done. Dun, dun, dun. And lots of planes for battle cats to roam. There are lots of there, yeah. Battle cats, there you go, battle cats. Yeah, you should kill battle cats as much as you possibly can, because they are monsters. Bad. Their alignment is super, super bad. Big battle cats, die, battle cats, die. Flying cats. What happened to flying cats and dogs? I want to add dogs as well. I'm not really a cat person. I like dogs more. Flying ropers with electric shock attacks. Oh, good Lord, Fred Huber. Look at this. See, look. As soon as I said technology and government, they all like, we're bored. We're bored. I say monsters, and look at what happens. Flying ropers with electric shock attacks. Good Lord, here we go. What next? Burrowing cats. Flying and burrowing cats. I'm not going to make them separate. Do I make them separate? I don't know. Darn it. Okay, Jasper. I'm surprised you didn't say burrowing battle cats. You're losing your touch. You're losing your touch. We're not even calling intelligent undead. Oh dear. Their brains don't rot. They keep going. They know more than you do. Did someone say mushroom people? Oh, good. Mushroom people. There we go. Mushroom people. I had mentioned mushrooms, but I did not say mushroom people. But I will include mushroom people. There you go. Okay. Here you go, Joe. Dear. As I sit here and try to make my way through the barrage of ideas. Invisible jellyfish. Oh, God. Cats that wear harnesses powered by pseudo-dragons that allow them to fly. Prepare to serve your feline overlords. Oh, God. Here we go. All right. This sounds like a... is this a technology or is this a magic? It's magic. Oh, I'm tired. Sorry, people. I'm yawning. If you hadn't figured it out, I'm pretty tired at the end of these live streams, particularly on world building. Adventure writing and world building are probably the hardest ones for me. Flying undead vampire squirrels. Oh, good Lord. Really? You're gonna scare everybody away with your vampire squirrels. Sphinx that cheat because of their unsolvable riddles are not answered. They get to eat the PCs. Nobody's going to get your sense of humour, Fred. It isn't going to happen. Okay. All right, next. What else have we got here? Mushroom people with generating powers. Okay, mushroom people with regenerating powers. Regenerating mushrooms. Flying snakes, of course. Are we out of time? We are just about out of time. Oh, okay. That's it. Stop. Hashtag. Stop. I've got to go to work. That's all, folks. That's all, folks. That's enough. That's all, folks. Stop. Okay, all right. Let me show you some of what I have written down from your ideas that you presented on the monsters, okay? I have not included everything because I ran out of time. These things happen. Yeah. There was a bit of a flood in the last 9 minutes. There were quite a few ideas thrown at me all at once. So we have these that I have jotted down. Not fully fleshed out. Obviously some in jest, some maybe not in jest. I will include those ideas that have not gone onto this list. So in an hour and a half, or less than an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes, we've done world continents and world names. We've got a map as well. We've got races, some races, way too many. Gods and goddesses, we've got a bunch of them. We've got world creation stories coming out of ears. We've got locations. We've got monsters. We've got magic and how it works. We've got technology stuff, a little bit of that. A bit of government, not a lot, but, you know, that happens. So I would say that's a big, we did enough. We did more than enough. It can be done. You can start with just that. Like that would be enough. And look, I did a map. Tell me you can't do this. Like, there's no way you can't tell me that you can't start your map off at least the basic draft. Oh, look, a village. You just got to label it now. Just label it. It's not that hard. It's pretty easy. This is why I do this program, people, is because I know that there's too many of you sitting there waiting for something to happen, like you're going to finish the entire novel. Don't finish the novel. Just get it done. Get your world done. And start playing it before the world ends, your players move away, or you get cancer and die or something like that. Just get it done. You know, you have babies. I don't know. It could be anything. Let me finish up this poll. I'm definitely losing my mind a little bit. Okay, anyway, let's see. Have you built a world for a tabletop role-playing game? Yes, 65%. No, 26%. Incomplete, 8%. Can I just say, out of the 23 people that voted, those of you who voted no and incomplete, you just built a world in an hour and 20 minutes. Whether you realize it or not, maybe you had some help, but you do have other people at the table who can help you with this. You know, your players are there. You know, steal and pinch their ideas. Why not? Just do that. Anyway, I've got to get out of here. You've got to get out of here. And I will be back tomorrow. I can't even remember what live stream I'm doing tomorrow, frankly. Maybe I'm doing a stat block for a monster. Is it a night hag, or am I making a playable flaming skull? Or I don't know. I'm definitely not doing an adventure building, but it's something like that tomorrow. I can't remember which one it is. I'll be back. Anyway, huge thank you to everybody for watching and listening, taking part in the poll. Thank all of my patrons. Thank everybody in chat. I can't name you all because there isn't enough time. But without you, this process of building worlds with the community's input is far more interesting and far more inspiring, you might say. A bit nuts and crazy for sure, but it's still fun. Okay, so thank you. Even though I can't name you all off, I'm losing it. I can't keep it together. So I'm going to have to go. Anyway, so wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.